What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show with me, Sean Sheehan, here on Sherdog.com. And it is late at night once again as we take you through another PFL card for 2025. It is the PFL number 5 card for 2025, the semifinals, as we had June 12th in Nashville in the Municipal Auditorium in Tennessee. A very interesting card, I suppose. Like, compared to the rest of the cards this year have been that have out of the first 4, the first 3 were amazing. The 4th one was good, and I'd say this one was just a tad below good, but still worth watching. And the top 2 fights delivered in spades. And what more would you want, really, than the top 2 fights delivered? Not what more would you want, but that's the best thing. That is the best thing. If you were to ask me for a bad main card and a good undercard, an amazing undercard, I wouldn't take it. But if you give me the top 2 fights deliver, the top 2 fights are really good, and everything else is not bad. There wasn't anything really terrible on it, to be honest, but it wasn't as amazing as the rest of the year. And I suppose we're getting we're all getting a bit greedy here. But that was the run of it anyway. I must say as well, and maybe I'm a bit biased on this, but why is the card so late? Come on, guys. And I know a 4-fight main card. I love the 4-fight main card, and that did save it a little bit, but it's too late. It's simply too late. And I know the upcoming 2 cards anyway that are set are a little bit earlier, so that's good. And maybe there was a reason. I don't know, was the hockey on tonight or something? Maybe that was it. But yeah, we can't do them that late anymore. Please, I need it. Don't do it that late anymore. But yeah, I must say, like, there's been a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks about PFL. Obviously, I've done a couple of preview shows now, and you know, I feel like after that Patchy Mix fight, when he went to the UFC, even though Patchy Mix never fought in the PFL, funnily enough, everyone was like, "Oh, all these fighters outside of the UFC are useless." This same stuff again. Even though Kale Harrison won a title on the same card, but I don't know. But I feel like there's been a bit of fight back from that. And I tried my best because, like, there's a lot of great fighters outside of the UFC. Okay, the UFC have a lot or most, or, you know, the top 5 fighters in the world, they have a whole lot of them. But you tell me you watch Tad Jean tonight, you don't think that lad is good? And you watch his opponent, Jason Jackson, and don't think he's good? Or you watch Jesus Pinedo and don't think he's good? Or you don't think Logan Storley could wrestle with some of the best of them in the world? Or Mavlid? Of course they could. Like, Patchy Mix will bounce back too. I think anyone who's watched Patchy will know that the matchup wasn't the best for him. But whether it is the PFL or One or Cage Warriors or whoever it might be, look at Octagon, look at KSW. They have some great fighters. They really, really do. And how many fighters have gone from those organizations or Pride back in the day? Maybe that was a little bit different, but even Strikeforce or WEC and gone to the UFC or gone to other places and looked really good. So many of them. Like Michael Chandler is one of the fan favorites right now. Eddie Alvarez went in and won the title. Luke Rockhold won the title after coming from Strikeforce. Daniel Cormier was a double champion. Look at Ronda Rousey. I'll throw a shout out to my guy Evan Showman, who once said a lot of these people just think there's good fighters in the UFC. It's not true. It is not true. And I've kind of got on that rant already once this week, but I don't know. After watching this again and I've been hyped after that main event, I feel like we need to fight back a little bit, because watching these fights is cool. It's fun. It's brilliant. Like, it's like seeing 2 lads like this in the main event. And let's get to that fight altogether. Like, it's a privilege to watch a fight like that, whether it's in the UFC or the PFL or wherever it is. I really enjoyed it. I'm sitting here at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning watching it. I still really enjoyed it. Praying for an early finish, which there nearly was one. But at the same time, when you get into a battle like that, when it's back and forth, when you hear the judges call at the end and it's a split decision and you're really having the clue which way it goes, that's what it's all about. And I was kind of complaining there recently that we haven't had many of those fights, like in the big main event slots, whether it's in the UFC, outside of the UFC, or whatever. And I feel like we need a few more of them. We've had some great knockouts and submissions and stuff over the last maybe 18 months, but I feel we're really lacking great fights. And no, I don't think this will be fight of the year or anything like that. But if you were to look at last year and put this in, I think it'd probably actually be in the discussion. Funnily enough, I really enjoyed it. It was more of a tactical battle than an excellent back and forth in terms of knockdowns, and although there was a couple of that, but I just thought it was a very evenly matched, very, very good fight. So let's run through it and we'll talk a little bit afterwards about the running of it maybe. So Jason Jackson and Tad Jean. Jackson was pushing the pace early, and Jean was doing what he does a lot, switching stances, going to southpaw an awful lot. Both were jabbing well. Jean was off on a big counter at one stage, landed a nice leg kick to Jean and an uppercut. And you're kind of thinking, okay, Jackson was pushing the pace, but is it working? You know, the counter shots of Jean are kind of even though he missed a couple, he didn't score with them all. And not just the counter shots. I said that wrong, but like the shots in general of Jean were kind of on point. And then Jean dropped him with a big jab that was followed by a right hand and landed a few shots of ground and pound, and he let him up. And I was thinking at the time, right, that's the right thing to do, let him up, because you have big power, that's your game. But in retrospect, I wonder would he have been better off maybe not necessarily gone down, or he was down and having him, but like staying down and having him. But do you know the way that sometimes lads stand over and they throw a few hammer fists, or maybe they drop down with an elbow? Maybe that would have been a better way of doing it. But anyway, he let him up, and then Jackson very quickly got a great takedown. Jean got up to the clinch and then broke off, and Jean was really stalking him, landed a lovely leg kick. He went for a takedown of his own then to Jean with the kind of the double under takedown, and he very nearly landed on the bottom, but there was a scramble and a break, and Jean landed a nice elbow and Jason landed a leg kick, and he almost landed a big head kick. And then, you know, Jason Jackson kind of got his feet back under him, landed a nice leg kick and a right hand, and then he got a takedown. It was really, really easy. Takes the back, but didn't really do much with it. So, you know, great round for Tad Jean. Jason Jackson kind of came back into it, but it certainly wasn't enough. In the second round, Jackson came out looking good. He landed a lovely jab and a leg kick, landed a nice 1-2, and he was feinting well. Like, he was drawing the shots out from Tad Jean without putting himself in danger, and Jean really didn't have an answer for it early in that round two, or to be honest, throughout the rest of the fight in terms of landing his big shots. But Jackson got in on a lovely double leg, but was defended well against the cage. He landed a lovely knee to the body, and then he got a takedown again under a big Jean right hand, so he dipped under right hand and got it. Jean got up almost immediately, and he took Jason down himself. You know, Jean kind of held his hips against the cage as he got back up. There was a mat return, but up and out very quickly again. Jean landed a left hand, Jason landed a 1-2, and Jean landed a hard leg kick before there was kind of a clinch again, and he landed some, Jason Jackson actually landed the knees in the clinch, but from the break there was a lovely elbow by Jean, both defending shots well towards the end. Jackson got a late takedown, but he also landed a couple of shots late, and I'm thinking, and not necessarily the takedown, but I think he had the better maybe the last 30 seconds-ish. I wonder would that have just gotten him that round. I thought he won the round. I thought his early work was good too. I think maybe the first 30 seconds and the last 30 seconds was relatively even in the middle. The third round started and Jackson threw a lovely head kick, and it somewhat landed. Then Jason hurt him with two right hands. But, you know, when I say hurt him, he kept going, you know, and I think maybe they were decisive punches, but Jackson did keep going. Jean was definitely pushing the pace more in the third round, but both were landing jabs. Jean was switching back to switching again, and Jason Jackson, I thought he looked tired here because he went for a takedown and it looked very tired, but you know, he got that second, third win, whatever it might be, and he kept going. But Jean landed a lovely leg kick, and then he landed a kick, a low kick in the groin area, which he apologized and he was really sorry for, but I thought Jason Jackson should have taken more time here. I wonder again, was that a big part of this fight? Because to me, it looked like he rushed back in. He went down and all. It was a very hard grind kick, but within probably 45 seconds, maybe even less, he was back up. He landed a couple of jabs. Tad landed a leg kick, and Jason was kind of chasing him around with punches, failed on a takedown, and, you know, they clinched. You know, Gene scored on the break. Well, it was very even. The third round was very even. Both landed right hands. Gene jumped to Gilly then, but it was no good. Jason took the back briefly, and then there was a scramble late again. So, toss of a coin, really, for who won that third round. You know, the second round was over. I thought to myself, maybe Jason Jackson had done enough. You know, with those two, and I don't know if I said Gina, but the first two right hands of the third round was actually Jason Jackson landed those two. I think I said it the other way around, but yeah, Jason landed those two. I think those might have been key here for me, but very much nodding in it. But at the end of the day, the judges favoured Tad Gene. One judge had a 30-27, and look, I can understand it. That second round there wasn't much in it, but bit harsh on Jason Jackson. Didn't get either of those two rounds. But as I said, a lot of people predicting this fight, including myself, and I picked Jason Jackson to win, and I gave Tad Gene at my bet. So no matter what happens, I would have been right and wrong. So we'll say, but a lot of people would have said, you know, Tad Gene wins this fight. It's going to be a big knockout. It's going to be power. It's going to be, you know, Jason Jackson not getting his game going, and it was anything but that, you know. No, he did land power and the good shots, but Jason Jackson did get his game going. Tad Gene was able to just fight him and beat him over 15 minutes. Now, very close again. Look, if we're talking, this was a draw, really. Like, let's be honest, this was about as even as a fight. If you're to score this fight as a whole, it was a draw, you know. But for that to be the case at this stage of Tad Gene's career, it's absolutely mighty for him. So, fair play to Tad Gene, and a great win there for him. The co-main event was a lot shorter and a lot quicker. I don't have many notes for it. Let's see exactly how long it was. It was 1 minute and 16. It didn't feel like 1 minute and 16, if I'm being honest. So Jesus Pinedo against Gabriel Braga for the third time, and it was very much similar to the second fight rather than the first fight. Pinedo came out southpaw and was countering well. Braga was going forward, and Braga was probably doing what you'd expect him to do, but maybe not advise him to do. Might be the thing, going forward, trying to land those big shots, but it backfired badly. Pinedo landed the left hook, and that hit, but it was a short right hook, or right hand even, that hurt him badly. And then there was another, almost the same, another bit of a hook and a right hand to finish him off. It was the left hook from behind that looked really, really, really big and really powerful to finish him off. A brilliant performance. Very quick, obviously, from Jesus Pinedo again. But this guy, obviously we'll talk about who he's meeting in the finale in a second. But if he wins that, he's definitely one of the top 5, top 10 featherweights in the world. I would say top 5. Like, if you look at the featherweights at the moment, like in the UFC, they're... Max Holloway's kind of gone. Volkanovski obviously is still ruling the roost at the moment, but I don't think Volkanovski is what he used to be. And it's I think it's in maybe a transition period at the moment. And I think if Pinedo was there right now, he'd do pretty well. So a great win for Pinedo, and we'll talk about his opponent in a second. First of all, to the other welterweight semi-final. And we had Logan Storley against Masayuki Kikuiri. Honestly, this is a lot better of a fight than I thought it would be, but kind of did delve into becoming the fight I thought it would be. So the fight started with Massa Sean Denis right up through the middle. He kind of this lean forward stance and was throwing jabs, defended the first takedown very well. And you're kind of thinking at that stage, maybe he's onto something here. But on the second takedown attempt, Logan lifted him up and just took him down, got into the side mount after a quick scramble into the half guard, and landed some big elbows. And I think it was Dan Hardy said in the commentary that, Logan Storley at this stage of his career it's not about decisions anymore. It's not about wins even. It's about showing out and getting those big wins. And honestly, he fought like that in the first round here. As I said, big elbows, heavy ground and pound with the seatbelt. The ref was warning a couple of times. I thought he was going to stop it, but there was so many shots thrown. I think Logan slowly kind of got a bit tired. Didn't want to blow himself out, which was right. Got into the half guard and, as I said, slowed a bit, but got to the mount, got to the right position, more heavy ground and pound. And Massa got up, was mat returned, got the half guard, and there was some hammer fists for Logan. But by the latter half of the round, is more controlling than a lot of strikes, until the very end, where he got into the side mount late, landed some elbows and punches. I think one judge scored it a 10-8, and I would agree, to be honest. I thought it was a 10-8. He basically dominated the whole round. When we were talking about 10-8s, you have the 3Ds: domination, duration, and damage. I think he definitely had the first two. As for damage, the referee almost stopped it at one stage. He landed some big shots, a couple of elbows. I think he had the damage too, yeah. So I would have given that as a 10-8, yeah. So there you go. Second round in, a lot closer. Massa kind of threw a few front kicks early and missed, and landed a nice leg kick. Logan got to the clinch. I went for a single leg in the clinch, but it was no good, and there was a break, and lovely uppercut by Kikuiri. Landed a nice leg kick as well. Logan wrestled to his hips and pulls him to the cage and clinch, but there was a break. He wasn't able to get him down. Logan landed a nice left hook, but the leg kicks and the jabs from Massa were very, very good. Like, it forced Logan to kind of jump in and drop down for a takedown on the inside, and he did get it, but he kind of only got to the right position, and Massa got up and out, and he landed a good few punches after that. Logan landed a couple of his own as well, landed a nice right hand, but I thought the Massa jabs were very, very good. Logan failed on a takedown, but grabbed the ankle and got to the clinch. And they did end up getting a late takedown in the end, but I thought the better shots were Kikuiri, and I thought he won that round. So we're 1-1 at that stage. Could have been 19-19, but I had it 19-18 because of the 10-8 round. And then in the third, the kind of life was taken out about it a little bit. But first of all, Kikuiri landed a nice right hand, and then Bolt landed a couple of shots, but Logan got a takedown and got into the quarter mount, got the side mount half guard, and was landing a few shots. Massa was against the fence trying to control the arm from bottom, but Logan was just not doing much here. Massa looked tired now. Like, he scrambled out an awful lot in the fight, but he wasn't able to do it in the third, and Logan was kind of just holding the position, and it was a lot easier for him to do that. But got up briefly, but then there was a mat return, and he was in guard for the last 45 seconds or so. So at the end of the day, it turned out to be a routine enough win for Logan Storley via decision. And now he'll face Tajin in the finale in a few weeks' time. So very interesting fight. Can Tajin deal with that wrestling? We'll talk obviously a lot about that in the coming weeks and when we preview that show as well. The next fight then, the other semi-final in the featherweight division. Mavlid Habulayev against Taehyung Kim. Kim came out as a southpaw, as he tends to do, and you could see straight away, obviously, very much the taller guy, landed a lovely body kick and showed a lot of kicks from range. Was trying to keep his range because we know what Mavlid is like with his wrestling. Mavlid caught a kick, put him on the cage, and then dragged him to the ground. So the kick game didn't really work. Got into guard, and then actually from on the ground, Kim was landing the better shots. He landed some hammer fists from the bottom and some other punches. There was a few shots from Mavlid, and then Kim went for a triangle. And he got up, then Mavlid slammed him down and took the back as Kim was standing, and Mavlid was kind of controlling the hips. A couple of mat returns again, and Mavlid just wouldn't let him go, and Kim was elbowing Mavlid's arms. Never seen it before. Like, literally elbowing his forearms. But it's one of those rounds, if you were to take the criteria, absolutely, you might give it to Kim, but it's hard to look at that round and not give it to Mavlid, if you get me. Second round in, Mavlid ran across, and Kim almost scrambled on top of Mavlid, did land on top. Kimura attempt was no good. Mavlid takes the back. and Kim threw him right off the hook. He did a great job, got him real high and got him off. There was a bit of striking for a minute, but again, Mavlid double leg and slam, guard, Dagestani handcuff, which actually I'll talk about in the third round as well. The 2 times he got the Dagestani handcuff, it actually allowed Kim to get back up. He actually used it to kind of pull himself out to get back up. And I wondered, any fighter out there looking at how to deal with the Dagestani handcuff, I think maybe he's found a way there. I'm not the biggest, maybe the biggest, but not the best technician in the world. So I'm sure a lot of people maybe listening to this or people training would know better than me. But I would suggest studying the way he dealt with that Dagestani handcuff might be a wise thing to do, because he literally used it against Mavlid twice. But he got up and there was a clinch, but he kind of got back out. Kim nearly landed a spinning back fist as Mavlid was coming in, and Mavlid, I think, nearly landed a big shot too, but then Kim slipped and Mavlid got on top. He holds him kind of as they get back to the clinch, then got a body lock takedown, and Mavlid kind of kicked him off. And he had a kind of hard right hand on the bell. I think it was a clearer second round, but again, the wrestling from Mavlid is just too much. Third round, Kim knee was countered by a right hand, and then Mavlid got a very easy takedown, got into guard, and Dan Hardy described Kim's shots from bottom as pesky shots, which they were, just little tippy shots to the head. He got back up though. He kept getting back up to the clinch. Kim went for a guillotine as they were kind of getting back up, but Mavlid just kind of threw him down off it, and then he was on top for ages. Again, the Dagestani handcuff, Kim got back up, but it was a mat return, side control, half guard, has tended to be what happened in this. Looking for the arm triangle was Mavlid. Didn't mean to get it, but kept control and took the back from another mat return up to the clinch, down again. And that kind of happened a couple of times. And Mavlid ended up winning at the end of the day. So that was that. Mavlid will take on Pinedo in the finale. And as I said, if Pinedo wins that fight, you have to be, if either win that fight, you'll have to be talking about one of them as definitely a top 10, if not top 5 featherweight in the world. So very, very interesting stuff there. Right, let's run through the rest of the card. The alternate fight in the featherweight division, which could very well mean something if one of the lads was able to pull out, was Jeremy Kennedy against Adam Borrocks, and a very close fight. So let's run through it. Borrocks started out with some nice jabs and leg kicks. Started very, very well, I thought. He landed landed some good shots early, and Kennedy came out with a right hand, but then got dropped hard with a left hook by Adam after an uppercut. Borrocks was in top half guard, locks down, but Kennedy this was odd. He locked down his knee to keep him on the ground, basically, which I understand, keeping him on the ground, especially when you're hurt, but at this stage, let him back up and you can take him down. But Adam was landing some ground and pound, neither willing to give up the position, so Adam kind of just stayed on top. Kennedy stayed on the bottom. He's landing a few and winning. Eventually gets him down flat and goes for the arm triangle, but he's in the guard, so he'd no hope of it. And then Kennedy swept him and landed on top for the last minute or so, but not enough, and Borrocks won the first round. Changing in the second round, immediate takedown attempt from Kennedy. Went to the clinch. He didn't get it. But then Kennedy takes him down from that clinch inside of 30 seconds. He got the quarter mount against the cage, and then he took his back with one hook again against the cage. Eventually got both hooks in after sneaking kind of upwards. He did a really good job. He kind of pulled him out. Kennedy pulled Borrocks out from the cage a little bit and kind of walked his way up his back. It was very, very intelligent and very good the way he did it. Got the body triangle, and Borrocks did a great job of fighting the hands. Kennedy landed shots from the back. He tried to get the arm under, but again, Adam defended very, very well. But Kennedy was landing bigger shots, a couple of elbows, kind of clunked the back of the head, and that was a definite round for him, without a shadow of a doubt. The third round in, both came out swinging, which I wrote down here in my notes incredibly, because I thought it'd be straight takedowns from Kennedy as well, but it wasn't. Adam landed a nice knee and uppercut. Jeremy Kennedy landed a right hand, and Adam landed a jab. And Kennedy tried for a takedown, but it was stopped very quickly. He landed a nice right hand of his own, but Adam just to me was landing the better shots here, and Kennedy managed to get to the clinch, but it was after nearly 2 minutes. That's a lot of time for Adam Borrox to work on the feet, and he did do some good work there. He tried for ages to get the takedown, but Adam's underhook was very, very good, and the ref threatened to break them. He didn't. He should have. Kennedy kind of got him to his knees. It wasn't a full takedown, and they were up again. Adam broke out for the last 34 seconds. I've written here. That was very accurate. He landed a right hand, a couple of leg kicks, and a hard left hook and a right hand late. So I think that was enough for Borrox, and indeed at the end of the day it was, and he won the fight via majority decision. I think one judge gave the second round a 10-8, if I'm not mistaken, and I can see it, to be honest. It was a dominant enough round. So there you go. Right, the next fight was in the it was 176 pound catch weight, but it was obviously one of the featherweight ones for Magomed Umalatov. Made light enough work of Anthony Ivy. So the fight started out with an Ivy body kick, with a Magomed landed a left hook after it, but a very respectful start, I thought, from both guys. Ivy tried for a takedown attempt, which was kind of surprising, but then a Magomed knee hurts Ivy, and then Magomed landed some hard shots on the ground as Ivy held onto a single, got up to the clinch, and there was a break, and Ivy landed a hard right hand. Magomed landed a left hand, and I was thinking, oh, this is pretty good, but then Magomed absolutely face planted him with a short left hook behind his back after landing a counter left hook to a knee that Ivy threw. So I got mistaken with the last one. This was the one that was behind the back, where he threw the left hook after already knocking him down and hurting him. So very good finish for Magomed Umalatov there. And again, they talked about him being one of the top guys, and absolutely, what's the story with Musayev, who he's fought, and Kuramagomedov? Like, he must be in that mix as well, so we'll see how that goes on there, I suppose. We had a few long fights after this then in the welterweight division. Sarek Shields and Joseph Luciano. We'll run through that one relatively quickly. So Shields got an immediate clinch. I thought he won the first round. Joe got a hip toss and landed on top, and Shields stands to the clinch, and he threatened the guillotine, but Joe had kind of this upright posture, and he tried to throw Shields again, but he landed on top, and Shields, again, mat return was a thing for the day, but landed some good ground upon. He was in the right position for ages, and until Shields kind of picked him up and slammed him down again and took the back, got the body triangle, looked for the finish, but I thought Joseph Luciano defended very, very well. Joseph landed a leg kick to start the second, but Shields got a lovely double leg, picked him up, carried him to his own corner, Matt Hughes style, and just scrambled up, but Shields kind of held on. Another slam then after that. Rear naked choke attempt, but it was defended well as Joseph, stood with Shields on his back. Then he walked over to his own corner with Shields still attached. Few scrambles, not a much lot to score towards the end of that. Shields got a slam immediately at the start of the third, took the back, 2 hooks. Joe did a good job of controlling the hands, and again he stood up with Shields on his back. Shields had the body triangle, and he was hanging by the hips, very, very low, which is very, very odd. Landed a few shots with very little, and then they kind of fall onto the ground, and Joe got a takedown from a scramble to the clinch. Shields landed held a front choke as defense, and he tried to get a sweep but kind of failed in it. Joe landed some good ground upon it, caused the Shields to move. And there was a few mad scrambles again. The scrambles were pretty good in this, but kind of saw it out towards the end. Shields won the fight in the end via unanimous decision. Then maybe the shock of the night, Kennedy St. Louis beat Mohamed Berkamov. The judges were all over the place in this, I believe. One judge had a 2-0, one judge had a 1-1, and one judge had a 0-2. I thought it was 2-0 to Berkamov. Started off the fight, St. Louis very, very active with his hands, but Berkamov was much more accurate. I thought Berkamov landed a couple of nice knees. St. Louis went for a guillotine, but it was, no good, never looked on. Berkamov was in side control and mounted in the last 45 seconds. Some good scrambles, but the second round then, I thought Berkamov, towards the midpoint of it, looked very, very tired, but I thought he was still winning. Early in the round, St. did land a nice right hand that kind of rocked the head back of Berkhamov, but Berkhamov landed a lovely spinning elbow. His range was just a nightmare, I thought, for St. Louis. Got an easy takedown into guard and landed a bit of ground and pound. They did get up to the clinch, and as I said then, he looked a bit tired. St. Louis failed on 2 takedowns, which I thought was bad fight IQ because Berkhamov looked tired. And you're not going out there trying to like finish him and knock him out. But anyway, clinch for ages. And I thought it was 2-0 Berkhamov at this stage. He got a bit of a second win in the third round. I thought Berkhamov did. St. Louis started though with a nice right hand again as he did in the second round. Berkhamov was backing onto the cage. But was landing some good counter shots and especially counter right hand. And he was kind of trying to control by not throwing much. And he did a good job of it, I thought. But St. Louis was throwing nothing either. Berkhamov landed a left kick to the body. He did a handstand in out of a takedown, which probably was a bit of his downfall. Then he went for a takedown. St. Louis went for a guillotine, but it was no good. He got back up, and then he took Berkhamov down, took the back, body triangle, good shots from the back, and a rear naked choke with only a minute and a half left in the third round. Really good finish, really good stuff from St. Louis. I suppose I didn't see it coming. Very few people saw it coming, but very, very good stuff there. And like because of the judges' cards, it won't be a comeback of the year, but I think it should be a comeback of the year contender. So good stuff there. Maybe the performance of the night was from Alexei Pergandi. I thought he looked very, very good in here in his fight with Mike Bardsley. Came out early, throwing 2 nice head kicks. His kicking from distance was pretty good, and Mike's kicking from distance was too far off. His first strike was halfway through the round and was a cup kick. He landed a couple of nice jabs after that, though, and he did. Barzi found his way into jabs to the body and high were very, very good. A huge right hander following a cup check from Alexei was massive and it wobbled Mike. But the cup check happened at the same time the big right hand happened, and then the ref stopped it. But it was actually a cup check on the guy who landed the right hand, right? So he should have been just left alone. This fight literally could have been stopped here, so not great ref in there. But anyway, Alex rocked him with a flying knee in the start of the second. The wheel kick was just off. Landed some lovely stuff. Landed a lovely left hook to the body. And then Mike started going to the body himself, as I mentioned earlier, and landed, again, some good stuff. A couple of hooks to the body with the jabs to the body, especially, were very, very good. Alex threw a kick and caught Mike in a triangle as Mike tried to take him down. He nearly got it, to be honest, but he defended well, got back up. Mike was jabbing well again, but the counters from Alexei were just great, and then Alexei caught him with an elbow. Third round in, again, that leaping left hook to the head was very good from Bardsley, and the left hook to the body as well was very, very good. Alex landed a head kick. More on his bike in this round, but I think, Mike started winning the fight in that position, and Alex had to kind of get back in and started landing a few more. I think he did. Big Mike left hook again towards the end of the round, but Alex reestablished his range, and I think in the last 90 seconds he fought with ease and won the fight. So I was very, very impressed with Alexei Pergande there. And then the opening fight of the night was a bit of a mad one. I very rarely write a note before the first fight starts. Both lads just jawing at each other, Jason Danner and Nathan Gilmore. The first round was won by Danner 10-9. Both landed some leg kicks hard early, and Gilmore landed a nice right hand. And Gilmore probably started the better. But there was a clinch and a kind of a back and forth. Gilmore got a body lock takedown after about 90 seconds, but Danner got up very, very quickly, and then he got a body lock takedown of his own. There was 2 mat returns in a row, went for the north-south choke like Marab. Didn't manage to get it though, but got to the guard and then landed some big elbows, got to the mount, fell off when trying to get the back. Gilmore landed on top, but there was a couple of Travis Brown elbows, and Gilmore was close to the Kimura later. Relatively close round, but I thought Danner won it. I thought Gilmore won the second round. There was a clinch from him after a very slow start. Landed some nice knees in the clinch. It lasted absolutely ages there. Gilmore lifted him and slammed him down. Takes the back, but he fell off. Danner was in ride for a while and landed some big shots. And then he was in top guard, landing elbows. He landed a hard 1-2. And there was about a minute left. And then there was a clinch, and Gilmore landed a massive knee from the break, which nearly KO'd Danner. Gilmore went for a dart slate, but it was no good. But I think that knee was enough to win him the round. And in the third, clear 10-9 to Danner. This was a 29-28 all day. Both threw hard early. Danner got the clinch, and Gilmore almost landed on his knees again. Almost landed knee again, sorry. And Danner landed a suplex around midway and gets on top and guard. Danner was in half guard in. And it's a good ground and pound. Gilmore swept Danner and tried to get the mount, but some good ground and pound from Gilmore, but Danner stands up after about 20 seconds, so just wasn't enough there. Then Danner landed a knee on the inside in the clinch, and he falls on top after a wheel kick, and kind of for the last minute or two, Danner kind of saw it out. So clear 29-28 from Danner in the end, and again, he looks a pretty good prospect. So, but all in all, a good night for the PFL. We had Jason Jackson and Logan Storley winning in the welterweight division going on to the finale. And we'll have Pinedo and Habulaev as well. And I'm going to bed. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please like it. Please subscribe. And please leave a comment if you would. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, I'll have a preview for next week's card coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever that's there. So check that out too. But until then, thank you very much for watching. My name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com. And I'll see you all next time.